Hey there, y'all. Time for another latest vinyl and CD finds video. Today is part 2 of my 4th of July sales pickup. So we're going to talk about all sorts of vinyl and CDs that I picked up on 4th of July sales online. And I've got this great little haul right here of vinyl and CDs. All of this here today that I'm going to talk about is from an order that I placed through D.O.X Records. At least once a year, maybe twice, but at least once a year, they have 50% off everything on their store. This year it happened on 4th of July. I think traditionally it always does, but I took advantage of it. Got some great stuff. So we're going to take a look at it, talk music, albums, bands, and even a little bit about the message. Coming right up. Stay where you are. Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to another Tim Talks Christian Rock. Tim Risto here. Hope you're doing awesome today, and may God bless your day going forward from here. Thank you so much for joining me here today for this video. Glad to have you here. Thankful that you chose to make this video a part of your day. God bless your day today. Hey, we're going to talk about some great albums and great music today. As I mentioned, everything that I picked up here today was from a July 4th sale over at D.O.X Records, where they offered 50% off everything on their site. Took advantage of it, got some great stuff. So, hey, let's just dig in. First up is this little beauty right here, Bethesda. This is a brand new band. This was their debut album, released here in 2026. I picked up the vinyl because vinyl is something I love to get 50% off on. So I tried to actually kind of emphasize picking up a lot of vinyl on this particular order. So I did. Bethesda combines guys from, as it says here on the hype sticker, featuring members of Veni Domine and vocalist Herman Pasquale, formerly of Narnia. Herman did the 2009 Narnia album, I believe, Course of a Generation, I think it's called. And so he's on here from that. There's Herman. And then you've got two of the guys from Veni Domine. And then bassist here is Gabriel Ingemarsson. I'm not quite sure what else he's from. But then you've got Thomas Weinesjo, I think is how it's pronounced. And then Torbjörn Weinesjo. Those two guys again from Veni Domine. So what does this album sound like? It's really good. It's kind of got a very classic hard rock heavy metal sound to it. I love it. Probably shades of course, Veni Domine. It's got more of that kind of typically slower pacing, heavier sound to it that Veni Domine often does. But there are some faster tracks as well too. Not so much like Narnia. I mean, you've got a former Narnia vocalist on here, but, you know, probably a little bit of the Swedish Narnia sound, but maybe more so like a Judas Priest or a Black Sabbath, and then Veni Domine. Kind of those type sounds are all in this music, and it's really good. It's very much hard rock heavy metal, kind of classic sounding. I like it. I'm still getting to know it, of course. Just got it, but love it. So this was the vinyl I picked up. And it comes with this great insert sheet here with the guys on it there, credits there, and of course lyrics on the other side. So it's a nice heavy-duty sheet, and it comes in this great kind of reddish earth tone kind of red color, which is really, really very nice. Here's the back of the vinyl. I only picked up the vinyl, but I am going to have to pick up the CD. After listening to this briefly, again, I got to dig in deeper, but I can tell already I like it enough. I'm going to want to pick up the CD. Also, there's some differences between the vinyl and the CD in terms of track listing or the order of the tracks. Here on the vinyl, it's rearranged differently. I suspect that's because in order to fit things on each side of the vinyl, they had to change the order of some of them. That's kind of my suspicion anyway. So the CD and the streaming version online too, I noticed on Apple Music is completely different than the vinyl version. So I think the vinyl changed it for that reason. That's my guess. The CD also includes a couple of extra tracks, some bonus tracks. So that'd be another reason to get the CD. But anyway, if you're a fan of kind of classic hard rock and metal, great album. Can't wait to dig more into this, and I'm definitely going to have to do a review of that in the coming days and weeks ahead. But really great vocal performance by Herman Pasquale. It's got these really rich harmonies on the guitar. Seems like a really good songwriting, kind of complex, and some longer kind of compositions, almost like Veni Domine. But then there's some shorter, tighter ones too as well. Kind of reminds me a little bit of some heavier Striper material as well. There's some of that sound in there a little bit, just in terms of the heaviness. Not so much the Striper sound, I shouldn't say that, but just more of a kind of the heavy sound of some of Striper's heavier stuff. This feels a little bit like some of that. So anyway, great stuff. Love this album. If you haven't yet, I'd highly encourage you to pick up Bethesda's debut album. Came out just this year. All right, next up is All for the King from their album Darkest Before Dawn. I picked up the vinyl edition of this. This is actually the reverse of the Bethesda album where I picked up the vinyl but don't have the CD. Here I had the CD, so I wanted to pick up the vinyl for it. Again, 50% off, couldn't pass that up. All for the King is kind of traditional power metal, but with a very modern production sound to it. So you get some great kind of, classic power metal music, but with a much more modern, clean sound to it. So I do love that. It says here on the hype sticker, of course, the new album from Swedish melodic heavy metal band All for the King, featuring guest vocalist by Ulf Christensen, of Jerusalem fame, of course, on the song The Seventh Seal, produced by Eric Tilling. This album came out, let me see when this was. Okay, this album came out in 2024. I know I've had the CD for a while, so I know it wasn't too recent. And I think this is their second album, if I remember correctly. But it's got 10 tracks on it. Most of them are under 4 minutes. There's even some under 3 and one under 2. So some kind of, again, that kind of modern sound. Things are kind of tighter. It's not so much progressive rock as it is power metal, traditional metal. So good stuff here. I really like this band. I look forward to listening to them more. I'm so much into the classic stuff that sometimes I have to pause long enough to listen to, some of the more modern sounding stuff. But I do like it. It's in a paper and poly sleeve. It's on nice black vinyl. But they really do have a good sound. All for the King is Richard Holtecke on vocals, Eric Tilling on guitars, who produced this album as well. Andreas Elov, I believe it is, on bass, and Anders Kollerfors on drums. Cool band. Love the photos they got on here on the insert too. Really cool. But if you like modern, power metal, traditional power metal, this is a great, great album to start with. Well, since we're on a run of talking about great Swedish hard rock and heavy metal bands, talking about Bethesda, talking about All for the King and their Jerusalem tie-ins and Bethesda's tie-in with Narnia and Veni Domine, well, let's continue that trend. We'll talk about Narnia itself. Here's Narnia's latest album called 10. You can see that by that great highlighted Roman numeral 10 there. On this great album cover art. There's a 10 on the spine that you probably can't see real well, but just a little X there. Anyway, this is their latest album, 10th album, I believe, and it really is very, very good. It just kind of continues their trend of great, powerful, polished songwriting, strong performances and lyrical content, just really, really good stuff. Excellent guitar work by C.J. Grimmark, of course. Great melodies on it, and the production just sounds really, really good. Fantastic album. I've listened to this all the way through once, and it needs additional listens for sure. I love it, and I do look forward to reviewing this one as well, because it's just such a cool album. I love Narnia. I've gotten into their stuff in more recent years, starting to collect their back catalog more and more. There's the band members on the sleeve here inside, along with all the lyrics there. This is on a just a black vinyl edition that I picked up here. I don't know if they have any color variations. Narnia often does or has in the past, but as far as I know at the moment, there's just this black vinyl edition. But great sounding album, wonderful, wonderful music, great lyrics. You've got songs like the opening one, Like a Thief in the Night. Ocean Wide is really cool. Walk on Water. Jerusalem. Lots of great great tracks on here. Narnia actually would be a great band to feature in my What's the Message album series after I finish up with Jerusalem. But great album. It's not like a trip down nostalgia lane with Narnia. This is really just guys producing a solid album after all these years, just keeping things going forward. Love the sound of this album. Great stuff. If you haven't picked it up yet, Narnia should be in your collection if you're a Narnia fan. But any of these Swedish bands I've talked about so far, Bethesda, All for the King, Narnia, of course, reference to Jerusalem on that All the King album. I mean, all these are great. Veni Domine, all these are great Swedish hard rock and metal bands, and you can't go wrong with any of them. Great stuff. I forgot to pull it, but I do have the CD of Narnia 10 as well, too. I just went ahead and picked up both. I knew it was probably going to be hard to get a hold of the vinyl and the CD after a bit because Narnia is such an in-demand band. And when a new album comes out, especially if it's coming from Sweden, initially it may be harder to get copies. So I just went ahead and picked them both up at once through Rocks. As far as I know, there's still some available of both vinyl and CDs. But if you are a Narnia fan, you should probably pick yours up pretty quick. All right, next up, we'll switch gears a little bit in terms of musical style and move on to this band here called Visual Cliff and their album Freedom Within, as it says here, 20-year anniversary remastered limited edition here on the vinyl and the CD. I picked up one of each because, again, 50% off at Rocks Records. This is an interesting band and one that I'm not super familiar with, but probably more comparable to like maybe a White Cross, Petra, Guardian, kind of that kind of sound. Although they've got a little bit more of, ethereal sound sometimes, a little moodier kind of sound, maybe hints of progressive ever so slightly, but very much more in kind of the arena rock with hooks, melodic guitar, and just kind of uplifting Christian content. So it's really good stuff. There's a little bit of maybe Joe Satriani sounding guitar in some of this, at least to my ear. So I hear a little bit of that in the guitar work. But it's really an interesting album. I believe this is updated artwork. I don't think this is the original album art, if I have my facts correctly. It's kind of a simple edition. There is no insert with this. It says 2025 limited edition. You've got songs like Sacred, Electric Soul, Future Impact, Let It Ring. So 4 tracks on side A. Beneath the Sand, Radiant Departure, Torn from Expression, and Spirit Rain on side B. We've got Rob Perez on guitars, Shane Langford on vocals, Eric Fuller on bass, Rick Miles on drums, and also Rob Clan on keys. And the keyboards are oftentimes a little more forward in the mix too. So it's kind of got an 80s sound a little bit to it. This actually came out, of course, in 2005 since it's the 20th anniversary edition. This was released in 2025. It's got a little more of an 80s sound to it, but not a dated one so much as just kind of one that feels a little more timeless without being too locked into that 80s time period. Even though it wasn't produced in the 80s, they've kind of got that type of sound. So the vinyl edition is just in a paper sleeve. It's a nice, sturdy black vinyl. Looks really cool. You get the Visual Cliff cover art there. And as is typical, Rocks, their logo is on side B. So Visual Cliff is a neat band and album. They've got a number of other albums as well, too, that are a little tougher to find sometimes. I think, they were kind of limited release on CDs back in the day. But this apparently is one of their better known ones, more highly regarded ones in their discography. I did get the CD, as I mentioned there and showed earlier, of Visual Cliff's album. There's the front. There's the back. This is a very simple release. It's just in a cardboard sleeve, and that's it. So there's the CD, there's the sleeve. Nothing super fancy, but it is a nice glossy sleeve, so it is a good quality one. There's the disc art, and there are no additional or extra tracks on it, but it is the 20-year anniversary remastered limited edition. So, again, cool album. Like I said, I look forward to getting to know their music a little bit better. All right, let's shift musical gears once more. This time, we're going to take a look at Grave Robber, this box set that I picked up from Rocks. Corpus Operum is how it's pronounced, I believe. Neat little box set that came out in 2025. It was $40. I got it for $20 on their 50% off sale. I was waiting for the sale, hoping that I could pick this up, that they'd still have copies available, and they did. Grave Robber is this horror punk kind of style of rock. They're inspired by things like Alice Cooper or Kiss, where they've got kind of this theatrical stage presence where they wear masks, kind of these death masks or these, scary kind of face masks that are more themed like grave, right? And Grave Robber is a name they got from actually Petra's song, Grave Robber, as I understand it. So strong Christian themes in there, but on the surface, they may not be everybody's cup of tea. But I do like their music. Their stage presence and antics is one thing you may or may not like. And like I said, they're not everybody's cup of tea. There's the masks that guys wear. But their music's actually really pretty cool. This box set is just all in the cardboard sleeve, like I showed you. You do get a card with it, a Spikes Up collector's card with it. A booklet comes along with it, which has mainly a lot of, I don't think this is lyrics, this is mainly just a lot of reflections from other guys in the Christian rock industry, be it other bands or artists or producers or, you've got like Anthony Gober in here, Mike Stand, Doug Van Pelt, all have written comments. Bill Rocks, of course, Glenn Kaiser of Res Band, just giving comments about the band, what they mean, and their influence. So kind of cool. Then you've got the CDs in these cardboard sleeves. There's disc 1, pretty cool. They're all very similar. There's disc 2 and disc 3. So there you go, the box set of Grave Robber. Pretty cool set. I've got a number of their albums on vinyl that I've picked up, a few on CD. Usually when they've been on sale, I've picked some of these up. Again, I haven't listened in depth to them, but what I have heard I like, and I look forward to getting into them more in a future date where I can kind of dig into their whole discography. So that's why I keep picking stuff up with the intent of digging in a little deeper. Maybe do a whole video on the band and their albums and their music in the future. Next up, a CD-only release I picked up from the band D.O.X, D.O.X. This one's originally from 1986 on Frontline Records. I remember seeing this album cover a lot back in the day, I think in Christian bookstores, record stores, what have you. Never really heard them. I still really don't know what they sound like. I haven't popped this in yet. I think, though, from what I have understood, they're kind of Whiteheartish sounding a little bit, maybe a little more keyboard driven. Not positive, though. It is produced by Terry Scott Taylor, which that piques my interest because I love him as an artist, his work with Daniel Amos, of course. The Swirling Eddies that I've talked about recently here on the channel and have some reviews of those albums coming out. But Terry Scott Taylor is a producer, too, does some interesting stuff. So I'm kind of curious about this one. Mid-'80s band. It's got 9 tracks on here. This is one I think that a lot of people had been requesting because I think this is their only album. I don't know. If you're more familiar with them than I am, feel free to let me know anything about them in the comments down below. But I need to check this one out and listen to it. The disc art is really kind of cool and simple. And then, of course, you get the booklet with the cover art. The little quote on the back says, "Pictures in my sleepy eyes of silver waves so deep, painted there by wounded hands that guide the sailor's sleep. To awaken in those arms and cross the golden shore is living ever, dying nevermore." Kind of cool. The lyrics, I assume that's lyrics from one of the songs. Some interesting song titles here, too. The Hungering / Lightship, Aim for the Heart, Lighthouse, Zero to None, Feel the Fire, Lonely Without You, in My Dreams of Heaven. This sounds more ethereal kind of sounding, some of these songs, so I may be off on the Whiteheart comparison. But anyway, looks intriguing, and again, it's a band I have heard about for many, many years and just never listened to. So I look forward to digging into D.O.X through Rox Records. Next up, I picked up the vinyl of Fear Not's debut album. Rox had this, and again, 50% off. I needed to get it. This is my only Fear Not album on vinyl. I've got several others on CD. They've just released, I don't know, over the last year or so, and one in particular very recently, but 2 kind of EPs, new EPs from them, new albums from them that both could kind of form one album, I guess, really. I'm not sure why they went the 2 EP route. I think there's some stories behind that. But anyway, they've got new stuff out, but this is their debut album. Very, very good album. Like this one a lot. And I didn't have it on CD, so I thought I'd pick up the vinyl again while they had it for 50% off. Got a nice looking insert with all sorts of photos and an old article on there. And then, of course, all the lyrics and stuff on the flip side here. It's in a very simple paper sleeve, black vinyl with a very simple black and white label as well, too. So I think it was kind of inexpensively produced. But, again, one that I did not have on vinyl, so I thought it would be nice to pick it up. It's an album that's got a lot of great, strong songwriting behind it. Kind of some blues influences to the rock here, too. Great vocals. Just a really, really solid debut album. If you're a fan of Fear Not, which album of theirs do you like? What do you think of their new EPs that just came out here over the last 6 months to a year? So let me know in the comments. Next up, kind of another 80s throwback, but still with some modern sound, is Reign of Glory Slingshot, featuring Nick Layton, of course, on guitars from Firewolf. I had Nick on the show, a year or two ago. I interviewed him. We got to talk about, before this album came out, actually, talk about the first album and some of this album as well, too. I've got it on CD, but I hadn't picked up the vinyl yet, so, again, 50% off. It's a good opportunity to pick this one up. It is a really good album. Again, this has Mark Bowles from Yngwie Malmsteen and Soul Sign here on vocals on this album. We got Nick Layton on guitar, Roger Dale Martin, of course, back on bass again as he was on the first Reign of Glory album, and then Jeffrey McCormick from Fifth Angel and Les Carlson and Q5 on here as well, too, on drums. So this is a great album. I really love it. There they all are. I guess I could have shown them off while talking about them. There's Nick there, Roger Dale Martin, Mark Bowles, and Jeffrey McCormick there on drums. Great group of guys. This vinyl is in a nice red color that matches, that cover art really nicely. So very, very cool. Again, I've been waiting on a sale to pick this up because I did have the CD. I have the CD of the first album too, but I don't have the vinyl of that. And that's one I almost picked up at the same time. But I do need to pick that one up. That seems to be going up in price, at least from the places that I've seen it. So I might need to pick that one up before it gets ridiculously priced or sells out. But this one, of the two, this one's probably my favorite at the moment. I really, really like this album and can't wait to see what Reign of Glory does next. Nick, bring it. Next up, I had to get my Applehead collection in order. They've got 2 albums out. This first one here, Meaning, is originally from 92. It's kind of got a little bit of grunge influence to it, not much, but it does have a little bit of that sound, a little bit kind of, as I like to describe it, a little bit of Alice in Chains sound somewhat to some of the songs, but he's got his own sound too. Greg really brings his own sound to this. It's just a really cool album, one that, as I understand it, he kind of developed it in editing, kind of developed the whole project, kind of a la Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, where a lot of the album was developed in the recording and editing sessions, not just in straight writing and recording, but he kind of developed it through the creative process and editing. But it's a really cool album. This is one that I didn't realize I knew until I heard it again recently. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that back in the day. So it had more of an influence on me than I realized, but wasn't super familiar with Applehead, and glad to finally pick this one up. I like this one. It's a great, great album. So I picked up the vinyl again on sale, and it's a great insert in here with a whole description here written by Greg in September of 2021. Lyrics on that side. This vinyl release came out, by the way, from Rocks in 2022. So this has been out a little while. Again, since I just kind of got into them a little more recently, it was nice to pick this up on sale. It's a black vinyl. It's got that great little label there. Of course, the Rocks Records logo on the flip side. It's in a paper and polyurethane sleeve, but it's a great album of 90s rock. Now, I bring that up because I also picked up their second album. That first album I had on CD already in a gold disc edition CD. I think I'd shown it off in a previous vinyl and CD finds video. Okay, Applehead recorded Meaning back in the 90s, of course. Greg did that really. It was largely him as Applehead, pretty much. But then it kind of came back to the forefront here in 2025, released another album. This one here, Applehead, The Light Side of the Apple. I picked up both the vinyl and CD on this rock sale. This one brings Jamie Millard into the mix. So now he's got somebody else to kind of collaborate with, and they're both great guys. Had an opportunity to talk with them recently. Really, really cool. This is actually a reissue. I think the first issue of this CD, and maybe the vinyl too, I'm not quite sure. But the original release sold out, so they reissued it with alternate cover art, and that's what I picked up here. Great little CD edition. Of course, you still got the little Applehead skull guy on there. And then you've got a booklet here. Oh, it comes in the O-ring, of course, which is kind of nice. So for us collectors, that's always fun. But then you've got the booklet here with the cover art, and there's Greg and Jamie on the back there. This is filled with the lyrics and some notes, as well as a nice collection of photos here in the center of the CD booklet. So very, very cool. Glad to pick these up. So often, as you've probably noticed from many of my vinyl and CD finds videos, I like to pick up both the vinyl and the CD, if possible, especially when they're on good prices. If the vinyl is super expensive, I may skip that and go to the CD, or just pick up the vinyl and wait on the CD. But I like to get both if possible. Here again is the vinyl edition. There's the backside with that insert featuring that collection of photos that was in the CD centerfold there too, and lyrics and the like on that side. The vinyl is, of course, being Applehead in a nice red apple color. Very nice paper polyurethane sleeve, and the backside of the vinyl. This album, of course, is a different sound than the 90s album, which leaned a little bit more towards, as I mentioned, kind of some of the grunge sound of the period. This one's a little different, so more modern sounding, but really, really good stuff too. Just as noteworthy of an album musically, just a different sound, and that's kind of cool. And they're not stuck in the 90s, or anything like that. So great stuff. I wanted to pick those up because, again, they're on sale. And I'm getting back into Applehead after, again, having only heard the first album, briefly back in the 90s. So nice to get caught up with these guys. Love the music. They do have more music on the way, I believe. So keep an eye and ear out for that if you're a fan of Applehead. All right, y'all, there you go. Quick walk through my latest 4th of July pickups here on vinyl and CD. Quite a haul here. Ran through it kind of quickly. Any of these strike y'all, or have you picked up any of these in the past or on this July 4th sale? If so, let me know in the comments down below what you think of any of these albums, the bands, the music, or if some of these that I've shown off here today interest you, you're intrigued by them, and want to learn more. If you'd like me to do reviews on any of these particular albums that would be of interest to you, let me know that in the comments as well, too. I got a bunch of other stuff from some other shipments, smaller shipments, that I'll show off in a future vinyl and CD finds video, including Atomic Opera and some other stuff too. So more to come in the near future, but wanted to at least get you all caught up on the 4th of July stuff. I think this is kind of the last of my 4th of July sales pickups videos, so we'll leave it at that. But anyway, y'all, go out, listen to some great Christian rock, make it some Bethesda or Visual Cliff or Grave Robber or Applehead, any one of these today. But remember, above all else, stay in God's Word. Blessings, y'all. Have a great one. Take care.